Today, I woke up at around 6 o'clock in the morning. I was feeling really gross because it had been 3 days since my last shower. So, of course, naturally, I wanted to take one. I grabbed a towel and I got going in the shower. The only problem was that as I was showering, I noticed that uh, the water was not going down. And so I turned off the valve, and it took about a minute for the water to finally start sinking. So clearly, the shower needs some plumbing done to it. So I had to shower, and then and I would turn off the valve, and then I would scrub myself with soap, and then turn on again, so I could not have to worry about overloading the shower with backed up water. When I was done, I put on my deodorant, combed my hair, put on some clothes, and I was ready to meet the day. I greeted my mom, and we both had an apple turnover that she got from the grocery store for breakfast, and I also had a banana to go along with it. Keep in mind, this banana was a bit on the dark green or light green side. It wasn't fully yellow, so I may have eaten it a little too early. So it was not as soft, but it was still good. I then let my mom and our family friend know that I would be going to my sister's house to pet sit her cat for a little bit, i.e., clean the litter box, make sure she was well fed, had plenty of water, and of course, plenty of pets. So I made sure to use the restroom so I'd be prepared for the long trip, because the trip was about 55 minutes to an hour. And I actually got this CD from the movie True Stories that I ordered with the Criterion Collection. And I decided to put that as my tunes to listen to in the CD player in my car while I was driving off to my sister's house. Well, apartment, anyways. So I drove off, and I said goodbye to my mom and family friend. And midway through the trip, I needed to use the restroom, and I tried stopping as soon as I saw a Wiener Schnitzel. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, a Wiener Schnitzel! Oh, thank goodness!" Then the there was a note on the door that said, "People are not allowed to use the indoor restroom." I was like, "What the heck?" And then I went into this gas station because they normally have restrooms in there. I said, "Hey, do you guys have a restroom?" They said, "No, sorry." So I decided to go into my car holding this and driving and hoping to God that there would be some available restroom location. Thankfully, eventually, I did come across a McDonald's that I could stop by and do what I needed to do. Never before had I been so grateful and happy to see a McDonald's in my whole life, because I felt like I was at the brink of holding it in. So it was nice to finally, you know, uh, not have to do that. So yippee. I then went into my car again, drove off. Eventually, I arrived at my sister's place. Um, I was having difficulty finding the room, so I asked my mom, who knew where she was, which room it was, and she gave me that room. So I opened the door, and immediately my sister's cat was meowing and like, "Oh my gosh, someone finally! I've been left alone! Hooray!" So And she started rubbing against my leg, and I decided to start petting the cat, whose name is Squib, by the way. Very cute cat indeed. I even made sure to record videos of me petting the cat and sent them to my sister as proof that I did indeed make it there. Um, I then made sure to clear the kitty litter, give her a little treat, and refill her water bowl. And yeah, the kitty litter had this really cool door, or sorry, not door, trash, where it had this little like pressure thing where you relieve the pressure like by pulling it, and it has the trash open, and you throw the trash in, and then when you're done, you let it go, and it closes the back shut, so the smell doesn't start emanating into the room. I thought that was a pretty cool feature. I was completely surprised about that. I even recorded a video of me showing that I made sure to get rid of all the debris inside the litter box as best as I could. And I sent that to my sister too. So, very nice. Yeah, I was just hanging out with Squib. Um, I decided to listen to this YouTube video that was talking about ChatGPT 5.6 because I was curious about what it was able to do. It seemed interesting, I suppose. Apparently, it's more of a energy efficient version of Claude's Fable 5. So I was like, dang, interesting. Very interesting. I then realized that my time was growing short because the area I parked at was they only allow you to park 2 hours in that area if you're not don't have a residential permit. Oh, and yeah, by the way, when I did arrive, I was lucky to find a spot, but there was this couple that was moving and they needed a spot, so they asked me to back up as best as I could, and I did. And yeah, then they were able to do their thing. I was pretty squished in there. It made me worried that I wouldn't be able to get out because, there'd be a bunch of cars in front of me. But thankfully, when I was done taking care of Squib and getting out, I saw there was plenty of room for me to drive out. So that was very cool. So I put on the instructions to get there, and as I was driving, I was listening to a podcast called Sardonic Cast, where three hosts, YMS, IHE, and Man Carrying Things, have a new this special guest on. I forget her name. It's this lady who talks about movies. And they were all talking about Toy Story 5. They were just talking about just casual chit chat about the movie scene and what the lady's career has been like, and overall just and then they jump over to this movie called Hairspray, which I remember distinctly. There was a DVD that we had in our house, and it was played when my sister's friends were around, and they all liked it. And I distinctly remember John Travolta was playing a lady for some reason. Very very interesting film. I haven't watched it in forever, since I was probably, I don't know, 8 years old or 9. So it's really fuzzy in my head, what it actually was. I'm sure if I were to rewatch it, the memories would start flooding back. The interesting thing about the movie was apparently it was based on, it's the kind of thing where the movie was based off of a Broadway musical, which was based off of the original Hairspray from I think the 1970s or 80s, somewhere around there, where this guy is named, I think this director's name was John Waters, was basically making a satirical, edgy, poking fun at of liberalism in the 1960s America. So I was like, that sounds kind of interesting. So I don't know, maybe I'll check that out. They definitely did talk me into being interested in seeing what the heck this whole thing is, with the musical version and the original version, comparing, contrasting. I think that would be pretty cool. Well, anyways, eventually I arrived home, and when I got home, I got out and I was greeted by our family friend who was watching TV. They said they decided they would want to allow me the TV, since they have one in the room, and they said they offered if I wanted any chicken flautas, and I said, well, of course, that sounds delicious. And then they said, oh, there was one leftover flauta if you want that, as I'm making you 2 fresh ones. And I was like, of course. So I got the flauta, I got a beverage, and then I decided to turn on the television, and originally I was going to continue playing that game Empire of the Ants on my PlayStation 5, but then I decided, I don't really eat and play at the same time. When I'm playing, I'm like fully locked in, so I'd rather watch something instead. So I went on YouTube and I found this video where a guy was talking about all of the different SpongeBob video games and then ranking them from the Nasty Patty to Schwigen Wiggerman Jinxon or something like that, because he was number one, of course. So yeah, of course that would be something I'm into. I like video games, I like SpongeBob, and this guy's editing style was pretty funny, so I decided to check him out. Yeah, it was a very entertaining video. I actually might continue watching it tomorrow. I'm definitely going to go to bed after recording this because it was a really long day at work. But the video itself was very funny. I'm not going to go over all the games he talked about because that would take forever. Sadly, I don't remember the name of the YouTube channel. Otherwise, I'd recommend it immediately if you're into this kind of content. All I'm going to say is I enjoyed what I saw. I had the flautas. Those were really good. They added to the experience. I was very grateful for our family friend who would put some salsa on top. And yeah, then eventually, when I was done with the flautas, decided to pause the game, or sorry, not the game, the video, wash my dish, go back, and start playing a little bit of the Empire of the Ants again, since I was done eating. And in this section, you're like talking to the queen of like this level, talking about like, you know, how the flood has taken out so many of their ant kind and how you have to guide the ants to like save them from being flooded again. But then you're directed towards this combat section of the game. And right then my mom had returned from working, and so I decided to greet her, stop what I was doing, go up, hug her. And then I thought to myself, it'd be pretty good is if we had some cookies right now. So I preheated the oven. I got out the pan. I got out some parchment paper, cut that into a perfect shape. And then I got the last of the cookie dough, which made exactly 6 cookies. So 2 for me, 2 for my mom, and 2 for a family friend. I put that together on the pan. When the pan was all heated up and ready to go, I popped it in. It took about 11 minutes. I decided to crank it up an additional minute because the other day I did 10 minutes and it was kind of undercooked in the middle, which I did not like. And while I was waiting, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, early in the morning before leaving to take care of Squib, I did do some laundry and that was cleaned, and then I put that in the dryer. So there you go. Completely forgot about that. Okay, and then I left for Squib. So now we're up to date. Going back forward, my mom wanted to talk to me about like some ideas she was having. It's pretty interesting discussion. And then the cookies were ready. I took the cookies out. Um, I said to my mom, "Oh, you can have two," and then our family friend stated, "I think I'll just have one. You guys can have the rest." And we're like, "Well, okay." So I grabbed two. My mom grabbed two, and with the two, I made a cup of coffee, and I went into the den, and I decided to continue watching the video about the SpongeBob video games because I thought it was very entertaining. And then I was like, well, if our family friend said that we could have the rest, I guess I could split the last cookie with my mom. So I was going to go over and get the last cookie, and lo and behold, it was gone. And I asked where it went, and my mom said that our family friend ate it. So I guess she really wasn't done eating, huh? Pretty funny. Well, anywho, after that, I decided to play a little bit more of the Empire of the Ants game because I ran out of cookies and coffee to watch with the video. So I continued watching or playing this Empire of the Ants game. It was kind of hard to get the hang of because like you're given this tutorial where you're told to go to these certain sectors on like the map and select these different like power up abilities that are supposed to do certain things for your ants, um, like giving them more powers and things like that. It was a very confusing and strange way of communicating the information. Like, and the game's designed to look as visually realistic as possible. So they kind of put these menus in a way where they try to make them naturally part of the environment. So it's kind of hard to know, like, oh, what am I supposed to do here? This is confusing. I don't understand. Um, but I eventually did start slowly getting it, where you have to move the ant, like, because I guess when you go over like a certain point in the map, like the ant's menu selection is all around you. You'd select like a tier you want to upgrade, and you hold the X button down. So it was like an overcomplicated way of like making the menu more part of the scenery, which I thought was interesting, but a little convoluted. But I guess now that I know it, maybe it's a little less difficult to grasp. Anyways, it was now time to get dressed and ready for work. So that's exactly what I did. I got my clean clothes that our family friend put on my bed while I was still, taking care of Squib, the cat. And so I put on my working clothes and I was ready to go. So I decided to grab A&W Zero Sugar to have at my lunch. We were out of chips though, sadly, so I couldn't get that. And then I said goodbye to my mom and her family friend, and I told them that I loved them. I then drove off to work. When I arrived at work, I went in, I punched in, I went upstairs, I put the soda in the fridge, break room fridge, and then I went down, and well, lo and behold, the schedule, surprise, surprise, sweeps all day. So I put on the jacket, or the vest, I mean, and got to work. I sweeped the produce, I sweeped the break room, I sweeped the store floor, I checked the restrooms, made sure they had all the toilet paper, seat coverings, and paper towels they needed, and made sure that there wasn't a bunch of stuff on the floor that needed to be thrown away. And then I would sometimes get the occasional question from a customer saying, hey, where's a product, or where's this item, or where's that item, and I'd help out. Yeah. Anything interesting happen at work? I can't really think of anything. On my first break, I asked the CSR if I could go on my break, and they said yes, so I got my water canteen. Normally, they give you free water, but they didn't have any free water bottles, so I just had to get my water canteen, go to the nearest restaurant that gives you free water and get free water from there. And so I got that, and I came back, and for the rest of my break, I found a 5-minute breathwork exercise from Breath with Sandy, and I followed that. and felt pretty good afterwards, very energized, very ready to conquer the day. So I came in, with rehydrated with the water, revitalized with the breath work, and I just started doing my closing duties. Um, After I was done with my breath work, my boss noticed that our main boss noticed that one of the trash cans was full and asked if I could get to that. So I was like, all right. So when I was done with my break, I got the U-boat, I got the trash bags, rolls, and then I went to the front end. I took out the both trashes in the front. I decided to triple bag them because, like, normally, even when they're double bagged, they leak fluids, and I'm like, I hate it when they leak fluids. So I decided to triple bag them to make that possibility less likely. I then took out the front end trashes, the bathroom trashes, the break room trashes, the custodian trashes, and the receiving trashes. I threw all that away. I put bags on the U-boat. They're all in these, containers, these bag-made containers, brown bag containers. And then I brought those to the front, tore those open, started filling each check stand, while intermittently like helping bag and then punch in my sweeps, which I was doing continuously throughout the day. Funny thing was, right when my lunch break hit, they asked me, one of the CSR asked me, hey, could you make sure to fill this person's check stand with paper bags before you do? I was like, okay. So I did super fast, filled it up, and then I punched out for lunch. And I decided, well, I have my last sub sandwich slice in the break room. I want some chips to go with it. There was this deal of Lay's chips where it was if you buy two, you get them for $7, so like $3.50 per bag. And there were these two weird flavors. One was like garlic cream, and the other one was steak and like other weird seasonings I'm forgetting. So those looked interesting to me. I decided to grab those and go to the check stand. I purchased them. And then right when I was purchasing them, the person scanning my food asked me if I filled out their check stand, and I said yes, I did it. And they were like, "Oh, okay." So they went and they checked, and they were like, "Oh, you did do it." And I was like, "Okay." Um, and they were like, "I don't want to be that person." I was like, "Well, I don't want to be that person too. That's why I did it." So that gave it a little smile. And then I got the bags. I brought them upstairs. I wanted to try both. Originally, I was thinking about just opening one at a time, just having that one. But I was like, nah, I want to try them both. So I followed the amount per serving based on the instructions, which was apparently 15 chips per serving, which is 150 calories. And also, there was 8 servings per bag, which means that one serving is like 44 cents. So if I just have one serving a day, I could really make my dollars stretch to like 16 days. So that's pretty cool. Well, anywho, I got the chips. I tried the garlic cream one first. That one was pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was very creamy, very smooth. The steak one didn't really taste like steak at all. It just tasted like some unique seasoning blend, and it was all right. I think I like the garlic cream a little more. Anyways, I had the sandwich up and going. Sadly, the only condiments we had up in the front that I could get my hands on was mustard. So, yeah, it's a shame. No mayonnaise for the sandwich. So I had to work with what I got. Tasted fine, but would have tasted better if there was mayonnaise. So I had the mayonnaise, I had the chips, I had the A&W I brought with me, and I was looking for something to watch, and I decided to watch a video from Mystic, a gaming channel centered on PlayStation mostly and trophy collecting, and he was doing his new segment where he was talking about the potential implications of the physical media issues that are arising. Sony has announced they will be ending disc production by January 2028. And yeah, basically it was addressing all the controversy and how like maybe they have something new in store, or like they need to work on their DRM, or make sure that games can be played well into the future even after servers shut down. So it was a pretty, involved video. So after I was done watching that and eating my food, it was time to return to work. So I, uh, you know, washed my hands, wiped my face, threw away the paper towel I had the chips and the sandwich on, and at, and normally I keep the soda can, but I guess I don't know what happened to the soda can. I must have put it in the recycling. Oh well. So I went downstairs, and punched back in, and then that time was spent bagging, wiping down check stands. My co-closer did an awesome job. He not only brought the carts and signs in, even though I, was responsible for doing carts during the last 2 hours. There was this accident that happened where a some milk was dropped on the floor, and it was a gallon jug, and there was milk splattered everywhere. So I had to act quickly. My co-manager asked me to get some spill mash to go over and pour over the splattered milk, so I had to do that. And the whole process took a really long time. I think like about an hour to do because it was everywhere. And then on top of that, I need to wipe down all of the check stands, which takes me at least like 30, 40 minutes. So I was barely going to have any time to do the carts, which were steadily piling up outside. So my co-closer decided he was going to leave 10 minutes early than what he was originally going to, but he decided before he left he would clear a lot for me. So I was very grateful for that. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, sometimes life throws you wrenches that you didn't expect or see coming. So it's nice when people are there to like catch those wrenches and tune up your life car. It's pretty great. So thank you very much. So yeah, after I cleaned up the milk mess with like spill magic and broom and trash bin, and throwing away the rest of the milk that hadn't been dumped yet by dumping in the sink in the back room and then throwing the broken container away and all that good stuff. There was some trash left in the back that I decided to throw out, so I threw that out. And then finally, I spent my remaining time wiping the final check stands down, doing some go backs, and then backing for the final customer. I then, as we were like bagging, me and the cashier, we were like having some conversations and like some silly ideas that were pretty funny. Like I asked him, if you were a superhero, what superhero would you be? And like, the way I asked the question, if at your job, like you worked at a place called Superstore, and the whole gimmick was every employee dressed up as a superhero, which superhero would you dress up as? And then he said, I dress up as homeless Superman. I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of sad. um, yeah, I said I would dress up as like Batman, but because we don't want to get into legal trouble at the store, I would have to change the name to Bat Guy. So yeah, some silly stuff like that. But anyways, at the final few minutes, I closed produce blinds. I made sure to sweep the produce area to make sure it was clear. I bagged for the last customer. I wiped down check stand 4. I punched out. I told my co-manager I thought I left something. Excuse me, sorry about that. I thought I left something upstairs and went upstairs, and there was nothing. I thought, oh, well, I did that the last 2 times and I did have something, but I did bring my bento box. That's why. So there you go. So I went back down. I told them, oh, no, false alarm. And then I said goodbye to them. and told them have a good night, get home safe. They told me the same. I then went in my car. I drove home. When I arrived home, I immediately decided to look in the fridge to see if there was anything to eat. And there was a zero sugar cherry soda. And there was also a plate of tuna casserole, it would appear. So I took the tuna casserole, I heated that up in the microwave for 30-second intervals, like two 30-second intervals, mixed around the first time, and then put it in another 30 seconds, then mixed around a second time. And I watched a new Ralph the Movie Maker video where the YouTuber Ralph the Movie Maker, who talks about and reviews movies, was talking about two movies he recently saw. This video was released very recently. One was Supergirl. He said he was very unimpressed and bored by the movie, didn't really find it that memorable. And the other one was Disclosure Day, which is what I saw, and he really enjoyed the movie. He thought it was a really fun and brisk film that really had deliberately planned and carefully considered shots and good ideas, and he enjoyed the film. It was pretty cool to see that. I mean, I enjoyed the film for a really fun and entertaining romp, for sure as well. I feel like some people out there like to get into the nitty gritty and say, "Well, this is stupid because the characters are dumb and whatever." But I don't know. I watched it. I liked it fine enough. And it seems Ralph did the same. So there you go. I then decided to listen to his top 10 best and worst movies of 2025. And while I was listening to that, I was folding my clothes. I was on my bed. I then took vitamins. I brushed teeth. And I put away my clothes, and then I decided to sit here and make this update video. And that's pretty much my day in a nutshell. Thank you very much for watching. I will now go to sleep. So, have a good one, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Sayonara.